All right, Samori Benjamin here with Atlanta Braves two-time All-Star third baseman Austin Riley. Austin, man, thank you for joining me before this big game.
Yeah.
Great meeting you. You're a fine ball player, man, and I know you're from Mississippi, right?
Yeah, yep.
Now, coming up, you played football growing up, I know. Did you play basketball at all?
So I played basketball middle school and then ninth grade, and then between football and baseball was just a lot. So I decided not to play basketball anymore.
Now, Mississippi, a big football state, and you played quarterback early in high school,
Yeah.
I believe, right? So I know after your sophomore year or so, you decided to stop playing quarterback, and so why did you decide to do that?
So I actually, like you said, I played quarterback my freshman and sophomore year, and then the 7-on-7 started getting really big, and obviously in the summer I was playing baseball. There was a quarterback there that was only playing football, and I couldn't be in two places at once, and so I was like, look, I'm just gonna. At first, I was like, I went to my football coach. Was like, hey, I'm just gonna focus on baseball. And then, as we talked a little bit more, and then I decided I was still going to play football, but I was going to just do all the kicking game. So my junior and senior year, I punted, kicked field goals, and kicked off. Was there first 30 minutes of practice, did all the special teams, and then went over to baseball. So I still got to be a part of the football team.
Yeah, that's cool. And I believe your dad was a punter at Mississippi State, right?
Correct, yeah.
Now, punting, was that easier to do than, because you wanted to quit, or not quit, but stop playing, still busy schedule, but you decided to, you decided to still punt. So was that easier than having to be a quarterback, I guess?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, just trying to learn an offense as a quarterback is obviously difficult. And, being a kicker, punter, it wasn't, I didn't have to be there as much, but like I said, still could be a part of the team. Like I said, my dad punted at Mississippi State, so it was one of those things where we did in the backyard a ton, and I loved it, so I wanted to do it in high school.
Your punting it was very difficult because I look at it and I don't know anybody that can really punt the ball as far as punters do. And what's it like when you are punting and you have your leg up and you're kind of vulnerable, you have the pass rush coming at you, like that seems scary to me.
Yeah, no, actually, so I was really fortunate enough to. My cousin was a pitcher at Mississippi State, and so we kind of were on the same program. He just long snapped.
Oh, nice.
So and he was really good at it. Like he'd get back there to me quick.
Nice.
So didn't really have any moments where I was pressured. So it was just a unique opportunity for him and I, and it all worked out.
Okay, so I know Mississippi State wanted you to come play baseball and football for them. I know they wanted you to punt also, but you got drafted like 41st, 42nd pick in 2015. And so how was that for you, and why did you decide to go to baseball and not go into college first?
It was actually, I'm a big homebody, so it was tough. I leaned on my parents, leaned on my advisor at the time, which is my agent now, Matt Hannaford, and just the knowledge that they shared with me, and getting life-changing money, and my ultimate goal was to get to the big leagues, and it was just an opportunity that I couldn't pass up.
Now your first year was 2019 with the Braves, right? You called up, and I know right when you got called up, you started with a bang, May 15th, and you hit like 8 home runs in your first 16 games, which no Brave had hit that many in their first 16 games ever, and you were named Rookie of the Month of May, and you only played half of the month. So, I mean, how were you able to come up and have such a great start in the big league? A lot of guys struggle.
It goes back to all the preparation and work, and just trusting all of that. I was swinging the bat well in AAA, and Ender Inciarte, which was our center fielder at the time, had a back injury, and I got called up because I was swinging it well and put in the left field, and I think it was just one of those things where I was in a good spot. Hitting's all about having confidence and being in a good flow of state of mind, and just being comfortable up there, and I was there, and was able to continue that once I got called up.
And when you first got called up, you played all over. You played in the outfield a lot, and then you got your spot at third base. And 2020, I know, was a crazy season, and then 2021, you have a big season, and you actually have like 303 average, I think 33 home runs and 107 RBI. Is that correct? And you were like you joined Chipper Jones and Eddie Matthews as the only Braves third baseman to have a 30-100 season at 24 years of age and younger. So that's really impressive. I mean, were you aware of just some of the historical numbers that you were putting up at such a young age?
They were brought to my attention, and you know, it's very humbling to be put in a category with those type of guys, and you know, 21 was, you know, a season that I'll never forget. Obviously, winning the World Series, and you know, being my first real true year of establishing myself, having a good year. You know, it's just like I said. I mean, my teammates that I played with. You know, I'll never forget that season.
Yeah, so what do you remember about just playing in that World Series and winning the World Series?
Oh, it was a whirlwind. Just, you know, if you look at it, like in 1st of September, we weren't playing. I mean, we weren't playing good, and all of a sudden we got on a hot stretch. Ended up getting in there, and you know, it got hot at the right time. And you know, you see teams do that all the time. It's not about, you know, at the end of the day, at the end of the year, the record, you know, that doesn't really matter. It's about who's playing good baseball at that time, and I just remember, you know, all the big moments and the fans, and you know, playing in Atlanta in the World Series, how loud it was, and then obviously winning it in Houston was something. Like I said, I get goosebumps every time I think back on it, because it was you know. It's what you play the game for, is to win a World Series, and some guys go their whole career without doing that, and you know, I've been fortunate enough to win them.
Yeah, that's incredible, and that was also the same year that Hank Aaron passed away, right? So that was cool. You all were able to do it when he passed away. Now, the next year, after a really good start to your career, you make your first All-Star team, and I know in July of that year, you set another Braves record at 26 extra base hits in the month. That was the most extra base hits that anybody ever had in 1 month for the Braves, and made the All-Star team, and you were named the Player of the Month for the first time. So I mean, how did everything come together for you, and what do you remember that being like, making an All-Star team?
You know, the All-Star game is unbelievable. It's a lot going on in a short amount of time, and you know, it's just you're surrounded by all the great players in this league, and get to pick their brains, and you know, just enjoy. You know, my family was there. It was in LA. You know, I got my first hit in the All-Star game, which was cool. Like I said, just the overall experience of all the great players, and getting to experience that with my family is so awesome.
We've got 3 more for you. And I got to give you another shout out, because in August of that year, you ended up getting 30 home runs, 30 doubles for the season, and you actually tied Henry Aaron for the fastest Brave to get 30 home runs and 30 doubles in one season. So that's amazing. Congrats on that, man. And yeah, so I mean, but what's it like for you? You know, myself, I'm from New York, and I grew up a Yankee fan, and I have my memories of the Braves was '96 when they played the Yankees in the World Series. I know you were too young for that, but
I wasn't born. Yeah, '97.
Okay, cool. You got the year after that. But what's it like for you to be in Yankee Stadium and be able to play big games here?
It's awesome. I mean, you know, you grow up as a little kid, and you know, in the backyard, you set the scenario up of, you know, 3-2, bottom of the ninth in the World Series, and then, you know, you come to these stadiums, and this is, you know, Yankee Stadium is one of those rich history, you know, organizations. It's just like, you know, it's incredible. Like I said, you know, I picture, you know, you think of the coolest stadiums in our you know, just with all the history. You know, you think of Yankee Stadium, you think of Boston, you think of Chicago, and like I said, getting to play in these stadiums, you know, it's pretty surreal.
Yeah, I know you in Mississippi. There's no pro teams. Did you have a favorite team growing up?
So I was more of a player based. So I loved Chipper Jones, obviously, and then I was a big Yadier Molina Pujols fan. So between the Braves and the Cardinals, those are the games I was watching. Coolest story, my debut, actually Yadier Molina was catching, which was, I remember saying something to him. Don't know what I said. I was such in shock. So you know, some pretty cool moments.
Who was your first hit against?
Michael Walker.
Michael Walker. Okay. Right. Yeah, you homered against him,
Yeah.
right? That was your first game, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Second
Yeah.
at bat.
Right.
Struck out my first one, hit a home run my second one.
Amazing. Okay, yeah. And last one for you. Just what coming up? Was there a player when you said that Molina was somebody who you really were a fan of? Was there a pitcher who, when you were in your rookie year, early in your career, who you watched and you were like, oh wow, I'm facing this guy?
Yeah, it was Jacob DeGrom. I mean, facing him. He's got one of the he's one of the nastier pitchers in our league, and I remember facing. I'm pretty sure I struck out my first at bat, but like I said, you going through the system in the minor leagues and growing up, you see all these big pitchers, and you're like, wow, that's so cool. And then you're up there facing them. Another one for me is Bumgarner. I got to face Bumgarner. It's like when he went on that run with the Giants, when they won the World Series. And then, like you said, you're up there and you're facing him. Like those bring back like childhood memories of just like that dream that you have of playing in the major leagues.
Last one, football. Did you have a favorite player or team growing up?
Not really.
Okay.
I was, big Mississippi State fan, football wise.
Well, not Ole Miss, but Eli's that.
Not an Ole Miss fan.
Yeah.
Not an Ole Miss fan, but definitely a Mississippi State fan. When I was, I think it was my official visit when Dak Prescott was there. So that was kind of cool to get to see him play at Mississippi State.
That's cool. You could have been teammates with Dak. That's cool.
That's right.
All right, so folks, two-time All-Star right here, World Series champion, third baseman for the Atlanta Braves. Awesome rally, awesome nice meeting you.
Yeah,
Thank you
nice
so much,
meeting you.
man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, folks, we're back.